Okay, welcome to your Chapter 1 test review. We did test form 1A for everybody, well, except for the lucky couple of people that missed. So we're going to go through this. My idea was that if we do this way with the recording instead of in class, then we can save a few days. Because if I did this for each chapter, then we get all those days. And so if you have a question about a question, then you can see me individually. But hopefully this will clear everything up for you and at least give you an idea of how you did on the tests, because I'm sure I'll have this done before I have them finished grading. So here we go. Let's start. Number one's asking about this pie chart on the right. And so you can read the question for yourself. Let's go through and look at the responses. Some states have not designated a state tree. Well, that's not true. Right there it says 50 states. B, the cottonwood is a state tree for 12 states. Well, maybe. Here's cottonwood. It's 6%. And 6% of 50 is, whoops, moving that thing around again, 3. So B is not good. Taken together, oak, pine, and maple are the state trees for more than half. More than half, I got to get to 51 at least. 20, 32, 42. Oh, didn't do it. There are 10 states that designated pine. Well, here's pine at 20. So 20% of 50. Oh, I love it when that moves around. 10. Hey, we've got one. I'm going to cross that guy out. All right, the next question concerned bar graphs. So here are the cars or trucks, Ford, Chevrolet, and Toyota. And let's see what we can conclude. Owners of other brands of trucks are less satisfied. Well, that's not true. You might have a category of Dodge, for all I know, somewhere that goes all the way up here. Could have been bigger. So that's not true. Chevrolet owners are substantially more satisfied than Ford or Toyota owners. They didn't put that word substantially in there. I would think we have a winner in right away. But substantially means by a large margin. So we're going to hold off on that one. We won't cross them out. We'll keep them in the mix, but we're going to hold off on them. C, there is very little difference in the satisfaction of owners for the three brands. So now it seems like it's a choice between B and C, because if I keep C, I throw B out. I keep B, I throw C out. So let's keep them both for a minute and see about the other two. D, Chevrolet probably sells more. This does not give us amounts. Everyone knows Ford is the best-selling chart for like the last 32 years. E, a pie chart would have a better choice for displaying these data. No real difference there. So we're back to B and C. So B tells me substantially more satisfied, and C says very little difference. Well, if we look at the actual numbers, it looks like Chevrolet is right at 97%. And Ford looks like it's about 94.3%. And Toyota 94.4% or 5% or 6%, something like that. These numbers are all really close. If you guys had a choice of these three grades, I think you would take any of them. I mean, sure, you'd prefer that, but it's not like you're talking 97% and 68%. That's substantial. This is not. So we're going to go with C. Whoever made this graph was trying to trick us into thinking Chevrolet wasn't that much higher, but it's really not. Okay, on to number 3. Here are the IQs of 10 randomly chosen 5th graders. So we want to make a stem plot. Okay, when you make a stem plot, remember that the leaves are the last important digit. And so for us, that's the ones. And so if that's the ones, then you're going to have the 10s over here and the ones over here. So the 10s are, let's see, 96 is my lowest. So I would make that 0, 9. And then 10, 11. Now look for my highest, and that's 145. So the last one will be 14. So I'm going to select B. Number 4, distribution skewed to the right. Which of the following is true? Okay, we did this one about 1,000 times, I think. Here's my the continuous distribution, skewed to the right. The high values over here in this area are going to pull the mean with them. So this is the median, this is the mean. And so that is C. The mean must be greater than the median. Those weren't so bad. Hopefully we're all 4 for 4. Number 5, rainwater was collected, and here's the data. Okay, so I actually, before I started this video, went ahead and threw these numbers in my calculator so that I could get the 5 number summary. So let me write that down for you. Yikes. The min was 2.6. Ah, rats. The first quartile was at 3.8. The median was at 4.5. The third quartile was at 5.6. And the maximum value is at 6.3. So we just need to go through and line those up. Let me see here. This will do. So 6.3 to me looks about right there. Maybe it's a little closer this way, but something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and cross B out. But let's add some more lines. The third quartile is at 5.6. There's 5.5. Let's move it over some. 5.6. Yikes. This was a good one to use because look how many we can throw away. Gone. 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 Okay. I think we're done. We'll check another one or two just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure we're going to go with E. All right, the median was at 4.5. Yeah, nothing to indicate that it's not going to be right. So let's go to the next one. Number 6, a sample of 250 high school students, $1,000 to give away. What would you choose? So which of the following conclusions seems to be supported by the data? Most of the females who chose a health organization would have chosen an environmental organization as their second choice had they been asked. Well, there's no way in the world for us to know that. B, there is no association between gender and choice of organization. We'll hold on to that one. Because it might be true, it might not be true. I'm thinking, though, if you see... Well, we'll look at it further. Some of those look suspicious, though. Like especially the health one. Looks like there might be some sort of association. I almost say correlation, but you don't want to use correlation there. Association is a better word. Anyway, let's do C. The proportion of males who said they would contribute to an environmental organization was higher than the proportion of females. Well, that's an easy one for us to check. So to check, I'm going to need to add up all of the females, and I get 140. And I'm going to add up all of the males, and I get 110. And it's a simple proportion to check. I compare 29 over 110 to 33 over 140. And with Mr. TI-83 that you guys can't see, actually it's TI-84, 2.46 and 236. This one is higher than that one. So that's just an easy fact we can check. We can look at D and E and see if we need to reconsider. None of the students surveyed said they would contribute to religious. Well, we don't know that because they said other, and their other might be religious. The marginal distribution of organizations, 140 and 110. No, that's not true. The marginal distribution of gender is 140 and 110. If you did organization, then you'd be adding these guys down and getting those totals. All right, so let's go with C. Number 7, small company that prints custom shirts says that and that. He makes that, and the other employees make that. One day, the owner decides to give himself a $30,000 raise. Which of the following describes how the company's mean and median salaries would change? So, let's see. You have this big pot of money that the people, they make the 40 to 50, and he makes the 120. He's the only one that got a raise. So we're taking this big pot of money. That's a dollar sign in case you can't tell. And we're going to dump $30,000 into it. And so the number of people doesn't change, just that amount. So that's going to actually raise the mean now by $6,000. So just a quick glance means that this one's done, and this one's done, all right, and this one's done, because the mean would change. Now let's decide. It says the mean would increase by 6,000, but we cannot determine the change in the median without more information. And the mean would increase by $6,000, and the median would not change. So basically, we've got a distribution, and I keep drawing continuous distributions because they're easier for me to draw. But this is severe right tail. And so you have your median over here. But if I add 30,000 to this, it's going to pull this way slightly, the mean. But this was already the biggest value. So if you envisioned your, 6 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the median was in here somewhere, it doesn't matter how much I add to this one. I mean, it's going to matter a little bit because it'll move it slightly, but not very much, because this is still the middle value, and it won't change the average of those two. So really, it wouldn't move at all because neither of these numbers have been affected. So it's definitely C. All right, let me do some erasing, and we can do number 8. The mean speed of cars only in 68, and the mean speed of any is 64. What must be true about the mean speed of all? So those are the only two types of lanes. So I don't know how many cars are average in 68, and I don't know how many cars are average in 64. But what I do know is that if they're all 64 except for 168, it's going to raise it slightly. And at the other end of that spectrum would be all the cars average 64 except for, or I said it backwards, all the cars average 68 except for one that averages 64. So that's going to drag that one that way, however slight it is. So it's got to be between 64 and 68. And that is A. I like it when it's the first choice. All right, number 9, mean birth weight of infants, blah, 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 which is correct interpretation. Okay, all the infants born in April weighed between that. No, it said a certain hospital. So all the infants weren't born at that certain hospital. About half the infants born in April weighed between those two. Nope, no way to know. Besides, we're looking for a correct interpretation of standard deviation. So that's not true. Difference between the mean weight and median weight, we can't tell. The distance between the weight of each infant born in April and the mean weight was on average 10.2 ounces. There we go, that's us. Remember, when you're looking at standard deviation problems, that what standard deviation represents is the average distance a value is from the mean. And that's exactly what's described in D. Okay, number 10, they give us the 5-number summary. So remember, when you're reading 5-number summaries, this is the min, the max, the median, and then Q1 and Q3. So about what percent of country A women weigh between 110 and 240? So that's from quarter 1, or the first quartile, all the way to the maximum. So that's everything except this 25%. That would be between 92 and 110. So all but 25% is 75%. So it would be C. And I'm actually going to stop here and do 2 recordings, one for multiple choice, one for free response, so they're not too long. Because that one I did the other day was pretty darn long.